2 drink minimum and takes as bad as the Saints off season so far. That's a
Yeah.
joke. You see, you missed it. Went right past you. Went right off. Went right past. You got to keep on your toes. Your toes, that is.
Yeah, here
I'm
it
the
is.
California
That's a
Cajun.
joke, boy. You missed it. Went right past you. I say you gotta keep on your toes. What toes, Addy?
Yeah.
I am the California Cajun. With me, as always, is my terrible co-host, Little Dice. How you doing, brother?
All right. This is live, Craig. All right. It's a lot of buttons. A lot
I
of
want to
buttons.
say it's live TV. It's what live YouTube, Facebook, whatever.
Right. Right.
Well,
Don't know what I'm doing yet.
you-
So yeah, we're just gonna hit some buttons and see what happens here, Craig. And again, happy Mardi Gras to
Woo.
everybody out there.
Got my beads, got my
Craig got his
drink.
bees. That's right. That's right.
Don't ask how I got these. It's a long story.
So yeah, we're getting this thing going, man. The beer run, we're back. We got 4 downs. It's Mardi Gras. We're gonna get this thing going. So referees, get out there, spot the ball. Let's do this thing.
First down, Saints.
All right, Craig, what you drinking, bruh?
You know what? I am a big proponent of only drinking beer on the beer run, but I'm also a hypocrite. So today I'm drinking bourbon. I'm actually giving up bourbon for Lent. Probably all liquor, to be honest with you. It's the only liquor I really drink anymore is bourbon. I couldn't, in good faith, do beer because I'm not gonna give up beer. So we give it up liquor for 40 days. So I'm having a little bit of one of my favorite bourbons in the world. Not overly expensive, but darn is it good. My good friend Maker's Mark. How about you, man?
Ah, Maker's Mark. Nice bourbon.
It sure
Nice
is.
bourbon. You know what, Craig? That's such a good idea that I have decided to join you with
Oh,
drinking Maker's Mark
are you
today.
out? Are you out of Margaritaville tequila today?
I am not. I am not. I still have Margaritaville tequila.
Oh Lord.
But yeah, I decided to switch it up a little bit today, and we're gonna go with the Maker's Mark. So
You
it's
got a
it's for
dark liquor for a dark time in our lives.
well, speaking of dark, I mean, what kind of person would travel to a place like New Mexico to go snowboarding or snow skiing or whatever on Mardi
No,
Gras
no,
Day?
no. You keep your fantasy football people and your fantasy football talk out of this good-natured alcohol and Saints show. My wife went to school in New Mexico. It is bleak. That is a terrible, terrible place. I
Really?
do not recommend it.
Oh,
Could
oh,
not could not just recommend it more. He said a word. Just get it. Just don't go to New Mexico. It's fine. Although I will say the UFO museum in Roswell, very cool. Very
oh!
cool
Talk,
stuff over
talk to
there.
me about that, Craig, because
Man,
we
they have
about them
all these.
aliens over here,
They have all the quote unquote evidence that they have from
right?
the crash, which actually happened in Corona, but the post office was in Roswell, so a couple like a county over. But they have like a little theater in the middle that's showing the documentaries, and they have a big like display like with life size aliens and crafts and everything. It is a super cool experience. I don't
Yeah.
recommend going because it's in New Mexico. I mean, New Mexico sucks ass. But if for some reason you are in New Mexico, go to the Roswell Museum. It's very cool.
Okay. Well, I wonder if any of the stuff that B Train and those guys shot down.
Oh, shush, 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 whoa, whoa, shush, shush, shush. Careful.
I wonder if it will make it to the museum one day. Area 51,
They have
something like that.
a new museum dedicated exclusively to balloon aliens. The 5 minutes that we were trying to be distracted by balloon aliens.
That's a pretty popular topic this off season. I'm telling you, man. So, well, let's get into the show and let's go with second down here.
Second down.
Second down, Craig. We know what we're talking about. It's the topic that will not stop until we have answers. Derek Carr. What team will he play for?
I think he plays for the Jets,
Okay.
which makes me sad because I would very much like to see him as a New Orleans Saint. I'm much higher on him than everybody else on this podcast network. I think he could be real special with the right system and not being with the Raiders stink upon him. Yeah, man, it's tough. I just don't think we can win a bidding war. Maybe he likes us and the cold weather scares him off, but if the Jets decide they want him and they can't get Aaron Rodgers, they're gonna outbid us. They got more young players, they got more money, they got more everything, which is just incredible that I'm talking about the Jets like they're a good destination. That is how far we have fallen. My God.
Right.
Oh,
But
I just got sick to my
it's the
stomach.
AFC. And I mean, listen, if I'm Carr's agent, I'm trying to get him out of the AFC, so I can get away from Mahomes, so I can get away from Burrow, Lamar Jackson. All the quarterbacks are in the AFC.
Yeah, Jets got a good young roster, but if you join the Jets, you got to deal with the Dolphins, who have a really good young
Yeah.
roster, and you're still chasing Josh Allen and the Bills, who are going to be good for a little while now.
Right.
That's
That's not a good division.
But you step into the Saints, or dare I say the Panthers, and suddenly you're the division.
Yeah.
You're the division
That's
favorite
guy.
day one.
Guaranteed. It's true. That's true.
I mean, and even if you don't think Derek Carr is great, Derek Carr becomes the best quarterback in the NFC South day one.
Yeah. There's no argument with that.
That's what I'm saying. So, like, if you care about winning, you go to New Orleans over New York. If you care about the glitz and glamour of being in a big market, you go to New York. Or if you want a bigger paycheck, because they will pay him if they miss out on Rodgers.
What if he's looking at it and deciding it's better to go to New York because the team is better, and he feels he can put up better numbers that way? Not necessarily win because of the challenge
Right.
he has in that division, but his numbers will always look good, and he can still get paid.
Well, do you feel that the Jets have a better roster than the Saints right now?
I do. I like the young pieces, but they just got there. They just got
Right.
to be where it was better, and there's more depth and everything like that.
Yeah,
that's because they're drafting.
I think I'm on the same page with you. I don't think that they're better today, but I think they are 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road.
Okay.
I mean, today our roster is still pretty good, while for the 5 minutes everyone's healthy. So it's kind of, if you're looking at your 5-year plan, Jets probably a better roster. But if you're looking at trying to win right now, the Saints are in position to try to win right now, especially in that division.
So I'm looking at like a cap number for the Jets. I mean, the Jets they're behind the 8 ball a little bit, but it's not very much. There's like 200,000 over the cap, that kind of thing.
So, I wish we were 200,000
right.
over the cap.
They can make that work pretty easily, but
we could do a full rebuild, go 0-17, and still be 200,000 over the cap.
Oh yeah, you're right. But it's because of what we've been doing. So
and because we pay players. I remember that Thomas had the best. He had paid the most for a receiver at the time. One of Bree's last few contracts made him the highest paid player. The Saints have consistently, rolled out the red carpet and paid their players what they deserve to make. And all of a sudden it looks like Taysom Hills of the world and Alvin Kamara's are overpaid because of their current production. But when they got those contracts, they were worth it. Everyone tell me that Michael Thomas wasn't worth it. Shut your fucking mouth, because Michael Thomas. Sorry, language. Start. Edit that last part out. Please retract your statements, because Michael Thomas, after he got paid, had one of the greatest seasons in wide receiver history with multiple starting quarterbacks. So I don't ever want to hear about Michael Thomas quitting on the team when he got paid or anything like that. Injuries have wiped out his career to this point, and that sucks. But
that's been an argument you've heard, that he quit on the team?
Yeah, pretty much. Just that once you got your bag, you pack up shop.
Look, the only guy that honestly quit was
Fairley.
Nick Fairley.
Fairley. Oh, hey, I know I signed my contract with guaranteed money last week, but also I got this heart condition that I definitely didn't know about last week. No idea. It's super new, no clue.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I just sucks, right? Oh, this is brutal. Oh, was that money was guaranteed? Oh, I'm so sorry. Is it guaranteed? There's nothing to do. My hands are tied. I'm gonna retire to eat piles of food and not have to work again for the rest of my life.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what ended up happening, man. Um, so I did hear somebody was talking about the Falcons trying to get Lamar Jackson. Like that's I mean, it's a possibility, of course, because he's free agent, but they were saying the Falcons really wanted to pay for Deshaun Watson when he was available. So they could see this happening if, Baltimore gets stupid and let
Look, the
Jackson go.
Falcons are an awesome example of what you accuse me of, which is
Okay.
putting too much into a quarterback and not the rest of your roster. Because they had the most electrifying player in the league for years. They had Michael Vick.
Hmm.
And then they
Hmm.
had Matt Ryan, who we make jokes because we're a Saints fan, but he was very good. And he was very good for a very long time. And they did nothing with him except for that one, brush with greatness because the rest of their roster was just weak. And we're a great example of how you can win with a bad roster and a good quarterback, or you can win with a bad quarterback and a good roster. It can work either way. You just have to really go all the way over one way or the other.
Yeah, definitely it has to go that way. You have to be all in on the quarterback for sure. Um, I wanted to kind of touch on that quarterbacks. The whole idea of you got to have a quarterback to win to have a chance at the playoffs. But
To have a chance at the playoffs, or to have a chance at
yes,
winning a championship.
okay, playoffs, winning a chance. I would say making the playoffs means you have a chance to win a championship.
That's fair. That's fair.
But
But I don't think you need a quarterback necessarily to
okay,
make the playoffs, because look at the NFC South right now. I mean, you could win that division with Taysom Hill, and I'm not exaggerating.
okay.
Yeah, I mean, making the playoffs
Depending
is
on
just being
what
the best
everybody
of
else
your
does, yeah.
exactly. It's just being
Hmm.
the best of your group.
Hmm.
I don't think you can win a Super Bowl with Taysom Hill at quarterback and without the rest of your team just being stacked.
Hmm.
But playoffs are always got to be the first goal. You can't be prom queen if you don't get a ticket to the dance. So I get it that playoffs should be the first goal. I don't think you can plan to have a bad quarterback and limp in. You can't plan to have the Trent Dilfers and Brad Johnsons and be a Super Bowl champion. You gotta have to have some kind of balance to your offense and defense. We just haven't had that recently.
So let me rattle off these teams and think about last season, going into last season. Okay, um, tell me if you believe these teams had legitimate quarterback on their roster. So first, Raiders, we're talking about Carr. So the Packers, Lions, the
Mm,
Browns. I mean, they got Deshaun Watson. I know he came
and he
back
played half the
like
year,
half the
yeah.
year, but there was a quarterback there. The Broncos with Wilson.
Yeah, that's tough because now you're talking about, is Wilson still a great quarterback? Because he
Oh,
was for a minute,
yeah,
but is
we got to
he?
see. But going into
Yeah.
last year, you thought that was fine.
Yeah, I would have thought that. I didn't ever don't think he was going to win the division last year. That the Chiefs own that division. It's locked
Yeah,
up until Mahomes retires.
yeah. Well, I mean, going into that season, we were like, that's a hell of a division because everybody
Mhm.
got a quarterback. You
That's
know.
true. Yeah. That is true. I don't think, I'm higher on Carr than you guys are, but I don't think there was a bad quarterback in that division last year. The way that they utilized Carr last year definitely didn't help his case
Yep. Cardinals with their quarterback.
when he
Uh,
was healthy and not playing video games.
yeah, the Patriots had a quarterback.
I don't know that they do. Do they have a quarterback?
Okay,
They're
so
talking
you
they're,
got questions about Mac
yeah,
Jones
they're
then.
they're talking about shipping him out and running with Billy Zappi because they don't see a big difference in there. So I would say they'd be an example of a team that doesn't have a great quarterback situation.
Okay, let's remove them from the equation then. The last one I got is the Titans. Now, would you say that last year they had a good quarterback going
Uh,
into it, a decent quarterback
I
going
think Tannehill's good enough for how they run their offense. I mean,
in?
their offense goes through Derek Henry. That they run the football, and you just have to have a quarterback that doesn't lose the game for you. So I would say that their quarterback is good enough. I don't know if that makes him a good quarterback, but it makes
Okay,
him good enough for what they do.
all right. So then that's a total of 7 teams that that we agreed had quarterback situations that were favorable
I don't
going
think the
into last year.
Lions with Jared Goff are a favorable quarterback. I take that
Okay,
out of there.
all right. Wow. Seriously?
Oh, Jared, would you take Jared Goff right now?
I mean, to me, he's like on the Carr level to me.
No.
He's in that Kirk Cousins, Derek
They
Carr.
shipped Derek Carr out of town and won a Super Bowl the next year.
Oh, you talking about golf? Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Not Derek Carr,
Stafford to golf was an upgrade. Golf
yeah.
to Stafford was an upgrade. Yes, I agree with that.
Poor Derek Carr. I just accidentally said mean things about you. Don't hold it against me. Come to New Orleans. I love you.
Okay, so I'll remove them then. That's six teams. I'm sorry. Raiders, Packers, Browns, Broncos, Cardinals, and Titans. Now, all these teams didn't have questions at quarterback going into the season, but none of these teams made the playoffs last season.
Sure. So now tell me all the teams that made the playoffs that didn't have a quarterback, because I bet you that's not a lot of them.
Yeah, okay, let's look at that.
Let's look
San
at
Francisco. That's one I could think of.
Yeah, they are.
I know it's the outlier. I know. Seahawks with Geno Smith.
He had a great season.
I know he had a great season, but
into the beginning of the year, we didn't know that. Yeah, we didn't.
Like, yo,
yeah, we didn't know that going in.
Yeah, so I would say that's the only ones on this list going into the season. You had a question at quarterback. I mean, I guess maybe the Jaguars, but I mean, that was a rookie.
No, that was never
coming off of rookie.
You knew you were going with the number one overall pick. You weren't gonna not play him.
Right.
So the two that weren't sure about quarterback going in were both from the same division, which is interesting. So that could speak to the fluctuating quality of the NFC West.
Yeah, really, it does talk about.
And then the Niners get a free win because they played Andy Dalton and the Saints offense. I've never seen a Saints team look as futile on offense in that game where we got shut out. I've never seen it before. It was incredible. I've only, all right, to be fair, I'm a little younger than some of you gray bearded sons of bitches around here. I've only been watching the Saints since about 2000.
Talk about the gray beards.
I'm only on about year 23 of being a Saints fan, but I've never watched a Saints game that just felt so just dull, just listless. Like we didn't even care. Like, it was just sad. Until the last game of the season against the Panthers. That was somehow worse.
Yeah.
And I was there for that one. Thanks, jerks.
Well, we'll see who Derek Carr ends up taking. And I just know money's going to come into play. So you're talking about $40 million at least per year. There's no way anybody who's signing him is not getting married to him. Like this.
Yeah, he's too expensive to be a bridge.
Bridge, yeah.
He's too expensive for that. Yeah. No, if you get Derek Carr, it's because you want him to be a starting quarterback going forward. And I think that's fair. I mean, there's the two ways to go. You either go get a quarterback to be a starter, or you have to draft one. And I don't think we're in position to draft a guy who can start for us right now. I love Hooker from Tennessee. I love him. But he's graded to be a third-round guy, and he won't be there in the third-round guy because other people see that potential, and they're going to snap him up. So if you pass on him in the first, he might not even be there at 40. That's my prediction. I'm willing to make a beer bet on that he's not there at 40.
Not there at 40. Okay. All right. Well,
yeah.
Let's see what happens when we start getting more of these rumors coming out. Because guys like Todd McShay will.
Oh my God.
That people have character issues.
Do you have that article still? So I'm going to butcher the names, guys, but there was a player on the Georgia football team that was buying lunches for his teammate because his teammate wasn't on scholarship and therefore did not get free food. So the guy is a
tight end, if I'm not mistaken, from Georgia. Yeah, that's what I think it is.
So the guy is using his own money to buy his teammate food, and then Todd McShay's stuck-up piece of shit ass says, "Oh, he's got character issues." Because he was buying his teammate food. Get the fuck out of here. Oh, tag this with a little explicit tag because I can't get that. Is just unbelievable. My God. The audacity.
But, it's not the last person that some news like that is going to come out where they question somebody's character. And
you never know whose stepdad is going to show up and post a video of you doing a gas mask bong hit on draft day.
For real. That dude.
He fell right he fell far enough we could have got him. I'm just throwing it out there.
Yes. Good Lord.
My goodness.
Third down for what?
Third down, what are your backup plans at quarterback? Because it's a possibility we don't get Carr.
Mm.
So what are we going to do then?
It's a wasteland, isn't it? The other options behind him are. I like Jimmy G, but he's too expensive for what he's gonna be. You know, he's basically in the same class as these bridge guys. I don't want Jimmy G to be my guy for 5 years, and he's gonna demand some money. So that's. I mean, at that point, you have to draft a project quarterback and get, I don't know, Baker Mayfield in the building. Jacoby Brissett, is he free? One of those kind of guys. Like it's bad. There is such a drop off after Derek Carr in the free agent class right now. That's why he's going to make so much money. It's not because he's great. It's because everyone else sucks. I
I'm
like Baker
looking-
Mayfield. Give me Baker. I will make. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Give me
All
Baker
right.
Mayfield. I want Bayou Baker. That's my backup plan.
All right, so I'm looking at what Spot Rack has as his potential market value here for Baker. They're saying 2 years, 13 million. Are you good with giving him 6.5 million annually? That sound okay with you?
I mean, numbers are at this size are they're just numbers. None of this means anything to me. I mean, yeah. I mean, quarterbacks. That's what you pay them. I mean, it's just part of the deal, man.
I mean, by comparison, last million he made 8 million. I mean, last year he made 8 million.
That's frustrating. I mean, it's what you do. I mean, what's your option? You kiss and make up with Jameis Winston, which I don't think there's any chance that happens because hashtag Dennis Allen's a racist. I don't think there's any chance that happens. Jameis is gone. He rightfully should be. We did him dirty. Andy Dalton is probably going to make more money than we paid him last year. I don't want to pay him that because, again, if I have to watch Andy Dalton again, I'm going to drive to Arkansas and kick your ass. Can't do that. You have to pay somebody. You can't roll out with Taysom Hill because that would be real fun for 3 games until he gets hurt.
I mean, listen, there's a former Super Bowl winning quarterback that's going to be out there.
Is it Nick Foles?
No.
Because he's out there too.
But yeah, he is out there. So, so there's 2 of them out there on the market.
Who's the other one?
Joe Flacco. That's what I'm thinking about.
Ooh. Yeah, fine.
We could make that work for a year, Craig.
Well, I was gonna say he was a good mentor for one quarterback, and then the Zach Wilson mentorship didn't work out as well. Yeah, screw it. Give me Joe Flacco. Whatever. He'd be cheap. Give me Flacco. Give me Foles. I don't care anymore. I like Baker Mayfield. I think he'd be fun even if he's not good. And after last season, I'll take some fun, even if it's not an improvement. You can't tell me that Baker would be worse than Dalton. Tell me that Baker would be worse than Andy Dalton was last year.
No, I don't think. If you're just talking about pure play on the field, no. I don't believe he'll be worse. I believe it'd be worse for the team overall because, well, listen, cap situation. You got to get rid of Jameis. That's gonna be $7 million. You got to sign him for his $6.5 million. You got to get another quarterback to be his backup, and you got to get a third quarterback too. So, I don't like.
Your third quarterback can be Taysom Hill, so that saves your roster spot, right?
I mean, it could be, yeah, sure.
I mean, it should be. He can play quarterback. He has won football games as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I might add that he has a pretty good winning percentage as a quarterback because wins are not a quarterback stat.
Especially against Atlanta.
Oh, God. Well, it's Atlanta. I mean, name a Saints quarterback with a bad win-loss stat against Atlanta. Oh, God, I hate Atlanta so much.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I would like Baker for the fun aspect. That's my backup plan. Bayou Baker. Gimme.
All right. Craig's going Baker. I'm probably going a guy like Flacco. Just get this year
I
over
could talk
with.
myself into Flacco, but only if you draft somebody. You gotta draft somebody to mentor.
A rookie has. I mean, I'm talking about somebody drafted between the first and fourth round. So I mean, a significant investment.
Yeah.
In a quarterback. Yeah. So he's got to win the number 2 job. This rookie quarterback has to win the number 2 job.
Yes.
Like this is a must. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Absolutely.
Yes.
Or it's a giant miss, and we start the rebuild right then.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cut everybody.
They're going to go for it here on 4th down.
That's right. We're going for it. We do not punt here. And on 4th down,
I think we did once. I think we punted once. Yeah,
we did once.
we did punt once. You got to know you're down in distance, man.
Yeah. The question is, how will the cap affect this season with us being close to 50 million over the cap? We did some restructures recently.
Oh man, you really softballing in the questions today. Yeah, it's bad. It means we can't get players. What is it supposed to mean? It's not going to affect us positively.
Yeah, but I mean, look, some people don't think it means anything though. Like cap, slap, whatever.
Look, it doesn't mean as much as people think it means, but it means something. You know, you can't take a swing on whoever you want, and you can't just go out and upgrade an entire position group at once because you don't have that kind of scratch. But if the Saints decide they want a player, they can afford that player. That's just, they work those numbers and that cap, and they restructure and they front load deals, and they can do whatever the hell they want. Mickey wants Derek Carr and he wants $40 million. He gonna get it. Period.
Okay. So
yeah, it's not gonna affects us, is it means that we have a lot of good players under contract still.
Okay, so what players like would you end up keeping and restructuring? Because we got to get underneath the 50 million, and we have to get underneath by a lot, right, to obtain more players. So what are you willing to do to get this money? I mean, do you really want to go and extend Cam Jordan's contract at his age? Because like right now he's got like a $13 million cap hit. Like a $25 million cap hit. If you cut him or trade him or whatever, he's gonna have a big cap hit. He's basically got a bunch of boy years after this year. So the only way that you can make this base salary go down is convert it into like a bonus, but you want to prorate
roster bonus, yeah.
And the way that you end up doing, I think, is by adding more actual years to his contract and not more ghost years.
Which is tough. Yeah, the guys that don't really want to stretch out more are Jordan and Davis, because I feel like they're going to eventually fall off a cliff.
Right.
But I mean, they've earned those contracts too. So I mean, they've definitely done everything you need. They're both two of the best to ever play their position in a Saints uniform, and that's not, I mean, Cam's the best defenseman we've ever had, and I don't think that's up for debate.
Yeah.
Unless I mean, even if you talk about some of our dome patrol outside linebackers being DNs, and they're not, but if you want us to talk about edge, people like to say edge now. Right. It's still Cam Jordan. He's still the best player. He's still the best edge defender in the Saints have ever had. And then Davis, I mean, he changed that defense when we acquired him.
Oh yeah.
He best backer since Vilma, and I think he was better than Vilma was.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not that I don't want to pay these guys. It's that I don't want to be paying these guys when they're no longer these guys. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Everybody else is open. Every single person can get a restructure, but then maybe those two.
Yeah. A big problem we had was Andrews Pete being hurt last year. And now, some people are just like, we need to cut Pete.
No.
Let's just cut him. Well, we can cut him, and he's still going to be
still pay for him when he plays for the Jets.
Yes, you're going to be paying for him to play somewhere else. Yes, exactly. That's my point, Greg. Because
you can't,
you get
much
some
as we're talking about drafting guys, you have some.
Yeah, you get some cap relief.
You got to keep him and hope that he can put a season together, because financially it's just not worth it. I would like to draft interior O-line early. I want to draft O-line top 3 picks because, it's me. But it's just, you can't, it's not going to be worth it unless you can do a kind of crazy restructure. And he's already had that can kicked a few times. It's just going to be too expensive for no return if you trade him or cut him or anything. I mean, you got to play him. You got to hope, keep him and hope he plays, but maybe set up a better backup.
Yeah, I agree. You definitely gotta keep him. So you're down with first couple of picks, somewhere within that first couple of picks being a guard, in the hopes of if Pete goes down, he can slide in and be a starter, right? Okay.
Yes, I after having, as playing on the offensive line for 20 seasons or whatever I've done at this point, it beats you down, man, and it is. it is not fun or easy to get through an entire season playing O-line, and not a lot of guys do it. I mean, the best miss games here and there. The guys who don't miss time are legendary for it. So I expect guys like McCoy to get banged up and miss a couple games. I expect Ruiz to go down for a bit. I expect Pete to play 3 games, and the run blocking was in those 3 games. You got to have backup plans. You need more tackles. You need more guards. You always need more offensive line. Yep. Always.
Yeah, you're right. You definitely could use more. I think the cap has really affected our depth a lot, and now when we can get this cap together, then we can finally get some more depth on the team and everything like that. I'm just looking at guys like Marcus Davenport. He's going to cost $7 million against cap and potentially not even be on the team right now. That's hurting. That's going to really hurt your team. You're talking about building the defense. You're really going to be relying on draft picks to hit in order to make some noise next season.
Yeah, but it's not like this is a new problem for us. I mean, I remember how long we were still paying Junior Gillette after the fact. I mean, and we had some good seasons after that. So it's not like all this dead money. It's not like it has to kill you.
New.
It might, but it's not new, and it doesn't necessarily mean eternal blackness forever, like the all-encompassing eternal void of facing up.
Yep. But
sorry, what was I saying? But it does hurt.
Yes, and I'm saying it hurts. Because listen, everybody is dealt card, and if you're holding on to that hand where you're minus 50 in the cap, and you have to go up against somebody that's plus 50 in the cap,
or somebody up against somebody who's only 200,000 over, like the Jets, who are going to outbid us.
You're not playing with the same hand everybody else is, so it's a little bit harder. Every decision you make has to be right at that point, which is that's damn hard, man. That's hard for anybody not to make a mistake at the job. So
tell me about it. I've made 3 since we've been on the show.
There we go. All right, man. Well, that's all we got for the day.
Short and sweet. We'll get a few more of these out in the future. You got anything else to leave the good people with? All 3 or 4 of them that listen to us.
Oh, we have so many people that listen, man. Okay, but it's
at
straight
least,
up happy Mardi
maybe
Gras.
Your mom listens, right?
She does, of course.
Happy Mardi Gras. Happy Mardi Gras. My mom don't really listen to that show.
Enjoy the drinks. Hopefully, you guys will get over to church, get that ash on your forehead.
Laissez les bon temps rouler. Call a ride. Call an Uber. Call a cab. Do not drive tonight. Please. Yes. I need y'all to listen to me next week.
Listen,
so
man.
Please drink responsibly from 2 of the most irresponsible men you'll ever hear on a podcast.
Whenever I was in New Orleans on Carnival Day, we walked everywhere. I mean, everywhere. We did not take a car that day. So we did a lot of walking. and I'm sure a lot of you guys out there are doing a lot of walking today. So, but it's all good fun. So we appreciate everybody joining us. And that's going to wrap it up for us on the beer run.
All right. Stop wasting these people's time. But we know you have a choice in podcasts, and we're amazed you chose this one, or that you lasted this long. For my co-host, Lil Dice, for Dave's loud-ass truck and the entire BSnBeer family, have a drink. It's on me.
Who dat?
Remember to follow us on Twitter and Facebook at BSnBeer Media. Or if you're old and want to write a strongly written letter, email us bsnbeer@icloud.com.